You've been struck by, you've been hit by a smooth criminal. Ow! Ow! There it was. You gotta get all the way up there. So in my house we sing, baby, are you wonky? Baby, are you wonky? Are you wonky, baby? You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. Because Milo doesn't know the words, and I've told him. I've said, sweetheart, it's Annie, are you okay? Baby, are you wonky? Said, baby, are you wonky? And Thriller, Thriller, Thriller night. I don't know what he's saying, but it's like, Thriller, Thriller night, an ocean on a plate, and then you get up, Santa. Like, it's like some crazy thing like that, and it's adorable. It's just... Baby, are you wonky? Said, baby, are you wonky? Are you wonky, baby? Thought Denise was going to show up right when I did that. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes.
I thought those were the words. I'm on his side.
So here's a really funny story about Milo. There was a song last year in October that went mega viral. So you know when a song goes mega viral, everybody from old man to young child has heard this song in every country, and it was the number one song in the world. I'm pretty sure that Milo wrecked that man's career. Because I made a video of Milo singing that song and it went super viral on like every platform. And he happened to be wearing a muscle man suit in it. So he was like wearing the muscle man suit. And then he was saying what the words of the song were. And he's like, Mom, this song is about not eating broccoli. And I'm like, that song you were just singing, this song. And he's like, yeah. And I go, sing it again. And I turn the camera on and he's like, Big Steppa. Do you remember that? Did you ever hear that song, Big Steppa?
Were
And
you guys in
it's,
the car?
yes.
Yes, I've
And
seen the video. It's very
everybody now
funny.
sings that song, Big Steppa, ground the whole lepa, ga na jo kimiko kimi lepa, shake tapa, ground the whole lepa, itchy cutty, ground the whole lepa. Everybody thinks that's the words to the song now. That's not the words. They're English words. It's an actual language that the man is speaking. And now everybody's like, you remember that little kid? It just...
That's pretty cute. That's pretty
He
cute.
commented to Milo. He came and commented on the reel, and he was like, "Hey, little buddy, how'd you get in my diary?" And then, Milo saw it, and this was his response on video because he wanted the guy to see. I love your song. Thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. I just love your song so much, and it was the most genuine, heartfelt. Like he put his little hand on his heart and he leaned in when he said it. I was like, "Oh my
Okay,
God."
okay, that's Mama's boy. That's
And the
Mama's
guy
boy
saw
right
it, and
there.
the artist saw it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And it got like 50,000 likes. It was the cutest thing. It was a very wholesome moment on the internet for all of us, and I'm
There are
happy to
not
provide
enough
that.
wholesome. We need more wholesome moments. I am 100% right there.
I'm tapped out. I'm tapped
Did,
out over here. I want some wholesome.
did you ever see my most wholesome video that came off TikTok with the
No,
guy with the corgi? All
no.
right. Well, it comes every once in a
Ooh,
while. So I'm doing a live and I'm kind of new to TikTok. And this is a while ago. And we're talking about conditioning, my kind of stuff, you know?
yeah.
And then somebody asked to join my live. And I'm like, whatever, just bring them in, right? Because I'm thinking, I mean, I was young and
This
naive. I
is
just
back in the Wild West days of
back,
TikTok.
yeah,
Yeah.
back in the day. And I'm like, well, why not? So I just invited the person in my live and some guy pops up in there. I'm like, hey, how are you? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, and then I'm like, my brain is kind of going, something's not right with this picture. So I'm like, do you have a dog? And he goes, I do have a dog. I thought that's great. And then I'm like, this is not a person from my life. So I start asking him some questions. I'm like, how's your dog doing? Fine. Do you have any problems with your dog? He's like, yeah. doesn't listen when I don't have a cookie in my hand. And we just did a dog training session right there, 15 minutes, put the camera on the thing. And I was like, go get the cheese, go get the cheese. And he's running to the refrigerator and he's got his corgi doing the things. And everybody in the comment section's cheering. And it was so fun. It was just totally
That's
random.
adorable.
It was adorable.
I thought you were going to say something terrible, and then it ended up being so sweet. Oh,
amazing. And so many people afterwards like, holy shit, that was the coolest thing. It was so fun. The guy had a great time. His dog had a great time. It was
well,
a wholesome moment.
my group class is like that. And I changed my group class to be where you, if you're a member of Dogs Anonymous, then the group class is available to you for free. But you got to be a Dogs Anonymous member. So that means that you got to come to a meeting or two every once in a while. And if you do, and if you show up, then you can come and join us in class. And I've got to tell you, every time a woman gets a bike, we all cry. We're like, oh my God, you're doing it. Like, one of our mutual clients, Lorraine, with the Great Danes, or with the Great Danes, with the Greyhounds, excuse me, with the Greyhounds, the 3 Greyhounds that she shows. She's biking with her dogs. She got a little attachment for them,
A
and
springer.
she's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. And guess what happened the other night? Everybody, I hope you're listening to this. This is probably this will go down in history as one of my favorite stories. She messaged me the other day and she typed it. And Lorraine and I talk a lot, so I thought it was interesting that she typed out the message. She said, the other day I was out with my dog riding my bike with my dog. This is a new thing. Like, she came to the class specifically to learn how to do this, and she's doing it. So proud of her. So she's out there, and a woman flags her down. An older woman flags her down and says, my elderly husband, I mean, she was also elderly. I'm saying that to paint the picture. My husband has fallen down on the porch. I cannot get him up. I've called the ambulance, but I need some help. Like, we got to do something. And she was able to, park her bike and safely take her dog and help the man up and, get him some off of his face, essentially. He was on his face. And she said, the interesting thing about that is that I wouldn't have been there if I wasn't riding my bike with my dog.
This is true.
And she's like, so being in that class and learning how to do this with my dog, like, I wouldn't have even been there if it wasn't for you. And I'm like, thank you. Yes, but I think the more important thing here is that you made an effort to learn something new. And in learning something new, it exposed you to people that you previously would have never had contact with, and you were able to provide service to them and help them. She said that
awesome.
the police didn't get there for 20 minutes, and she's like, that man would have just laid on his face for 20 minutes.
Oh.
I mean, these are the kinds of things that it's like, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. It's not about who likes what better or who what better. It's about what kinds of things are new and better in my life because I made an effort to get out of my comfort zone, learn something new, and help my dog. Just such a wonderful story.
See, these are ripples. You're making ripples that have go way beyond the dog
There
training.
she is.
Do we have our guest? Actually, no, wait.
Well, it's Lorraine that I was just talking about. Maybe our guest is in here. What's her handle?
Oh, that's a good question.
I can't remember. I can't remember anybody's handle. I always know who I'm talking to, but I can never remember handles.
Well, I can visualize her perfectly.
Who's in here? Show yourselves.
It's
the healing pack. There we go.
Bring her in. And we're her guest on our.
Oh, that's
we are her
right.
guest on your.
Oh,
there's nobody.
Hey.
Hi. I'm the only one that doesn't have my AirPods in. I hope that everything sounds okay. I feel terrible. I forgot to do it in there.
How freaking could you?
I know.
I never
Hello.
remember.
Hello.
So, hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
We're really excited to have you. I'm Jerri. I am totally blind in this situation outside of Denise being like, what do you think about this? So it's nice to meet you.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thanks, Jerri. Yeah, so I'm kind of in the space of, it's actually a beautiful transition from the story that you were telling around. I'm really curious about how other people do things. And being a recovering, tight clenched, butt cheeked dog trainer who thought they had it right for fucking ever, it's really beautiful to be in a place where I'm actually curious about how other people do things, picking people's minds, and particularly actually learning a bit more about the humans end of the leash. So my intention coming in here today is really to get to know the two of you a little bit better. I love just what I've seen, the impacts that the two of you have had on your communities online. And so I just want to dig a little deeper with you.
Well,
That
I'm all
sounds
about that because
awesome.
for those who are watching, by the way, I'm Denise. I, I mean, I think you know that welcome. It's nice to meet you. Glad to have you on the show. Your handle is the Healing Pack. What's your
I'm
name?
Rachel.
Rachel.
Rachel,
Okay, because
the
people,
healing pack. Rachel, the healing pack. Now I won't
Rachel of the
forget because
Healing
now
Pack.
I've got a face and a name to put to that
Yeah,
picture.
so
Okay.
Rachel wanted to know if we wanted to know what she wants to talk about. I'm like, I don't think so. No, no. And I'm going to speak for Jerry without even asking her. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure Jerry
I
doesn't either.
remember this now.
It's so
Yeah,
much
I said no.
fun.
Let's
It's
throw
just like,
caution to the wind.
let's find out what might happen.
Yeah.
Because that's when
You know,
things get,
Beautiful.
I've
I don't want to
learned
overthink my
that's
question.
a green flag for honest people who tell the truth as they see it, regardless of who's in the room. Because they're like, yeah, yeah, whatever, ask me anything, and then they just say it.
Totally.
I think that can also be. I think some people use that manipulatively in some cases, but in our case, it's really just because what could you possibly ask me that would be so crazy that I'd be like,
Totally.
I need to prepare for this question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And, in the age of
Like,
visibility, some people care a lot about that and do want to be very calculated in how they
yeah,
present and
okay.
make sure they're representing one thing or the other, et cetera.
I just
can't
like to
blame
come
them
in
in this day
like
and
a
age, though.
disaster.
You can't blame them in this day and age. But I
Totally.
kind of like the spur of the moment. Also, I mean, I can always say, I need to think about that one. Like, I don't think I'm ready to answer that. I just want some time to think. And I will think about it and I will answer. But it's okay. You can take a pause.
That's
Yeah.
also why I chose you two to speak with for that like exact quality of like you have the ability to say, I don't know, or actually I'm not just going to crank out an answer right now because you asked.
This is correct. So this is going to be
Gonna get
fun.
in trouble without it. Does everybody hear me okay?
I hear you
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
back. We're ready. It's gonna be fun.
let's do it.
All right. So starting off, something that I've really been thinking about, one of my old employees, Lindsay, when she was working for me, she comes from the Scholes family, the Peanuts creator, big background of artistry. And she was the first person who really showed me how my pack walking could be my work of art, how working with dogs is my artistry. And so I'm curious for the two of you who have quite a large online presence, what is the artistry that you would like to paint for people? Like, what picture are you trying to paint? What leads you in bringing your message to the social media platform?
Oh, I love this. This is going to be a good hour. This is going to be a good hour.
I'm stoked, man. Let's
To
go.
me, the
Denise, yeah.
art I want to bring is what you can have with another species. To me, the art is how completely unbelievable that we are best friends with another species. And the 99.9% of the population will never understand what that can be. Not because they don't want to, but just they haven't been exposed. And it's not even about like dog training the way I do it, although that's a huge part of it for me, because a lot of how I learn what I have in my house is training them and watching. Like the other day, my dog's not been feeling well. He's feeling a lot better. And he backed up a couple steps. He's wagging his tail and he throws his head and he's throwing his head towards the front door. It's so clear, plain as day, what he is saying to me. He's like, let's go do it. Let's go do something together. Like it's so obvious. And I think if there was one thing I could communicate to people, it's the amazing beauty and joy, and let's call that art, of what it can be to have a really amazing relationship with a different species where you're just trying to make it work for everybody. That would be amazing if I could get that message across.
Beautiful. As my coach says, for me, for you, for us, is kind of what that energy sounds like.
I like that. I
Mm,
like that.
that was
Beautiful.
a really good answer,
Because
Denise.
in the comment section, they're all kind of going, "Oh man, what's my art?" which is the best kind of question, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
Think about
I
it.
wanted to listen to what you had to say, but I knew instinctively what my answer was, so I was able to actually really listen to what you were saying. Um, in a short phrase, my answer is transformation.
Mm.
I bring the art of transformation because I'm not the best dog trainer in the world. I try real hard and I'm pretty darn good. But I think, well, let's say a canine behaviorist. Let's be specific. But what I bring is just helping people lay down whatever story they've been telling and pick up a new way of helping people pick up the life that they want.
Mm. And do you
Wow, that's
think
pretty deep.
Jerry,
I
do
had
you
to
think
think
Jerry was like a
about it.
bit of the contact? I know very little about your background, just little, did a little browse of your social media, but there is a level of like you have walked through the fire, you have worked through your own transformations, and so there's a level of lived experience that you can bring to someone that's going to go deeper than just like here's how to hold the leash.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
tell you, Rachel, I have learned so much from Jerry. Forget the dog training. Just the way she goes about looking at life in terms of service to others, and really a kind of just a whole philosophical thing and then she brings that to the dogs. And you can kind of see that. It's like when you bring in a client, it's not about fixing their dog, it's about let's make it all better. Like it, we do it more than
Relief.
the dogs.
Relief. Yeah.
Mm.
Getting people out there on their bikes, and now they're meeting people who need your help. Like that's all kind of part of it in a way. And then people start saying, I came for dog training, I got a lot more. I hear that.
Mm.
I think you
Yeah.
probably hear that too.
Yeah,
But that's because if you bring a life philosophy to something you care about and you share that, that's big picture. And then it makes everything better, way beyond the dogs, which is kind of cool.
sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think it definitely like seems like it helps the dog stuff just root more deeply, gives it
Yeah. Yeah.
something to attach
Yes.
to.
Yeah. I want to be known as I want all species to feel a particular way around me, and that it's
Mm.
that I have reverence for them and love for them and respect for them. And I'm not trying to dominate over them. I'm trying to experience them. I'm trying to experience my animals the way that they really are. I was thinking about this last night because I was riding my horse and he was like, I'm gonna go over there and eat grass. And I was like, we're gonna go straight. And he was like, no, like I want every person that thinks that, oh well, dogs have to be trained this way or dogs have to be trained that way, or I'm better than I want them to get on the back of a horse and ride around a horse, really, and understand what it's like to experience free will.
Mm.
You're not really experiencing it fully when you're with dogs because we're bigger than them and we're not on top of them. There's a different way that we kind of work with them. But when you're on the back of a horse, you can feel that, their thoughts are their own. They're not thinking about like, um, what does Jerry want me to do? I mean, it
Sure,
takes it takes time to build that desire in them, and I just have such a respect for that. Like, I want you to
definitely.
like me because you want to like me and you like spending time with me and you want to do this thing with me. That's
Sure.
that's very important to me.
So Jerry,
I really resonate
many
with that.
many years ago, I around the time I had kids, I had horses on my property, and I'm not an experienced equestrian, but I had horses that lived here, and I rode. And I was riding down the street, not a busy street, but a road, and the horse, for whatever reason, we weren't getting along on that day, and I realized that the horse was thinking about tossing me off, and I became very aware of how I'm not a good enough equestrian to even begin to deal with that. Nor did I know how I caused the problem. I don't know exactly what I did, but I'm sure I caused it. With hindsight, I can tell you I caused it. But that moment of realizing I don't actually have a way to control this horse. This horse is way bigger than me, and I'm pretty damn close to the road. Unfortunately, people around here are kind of used to riders and horses, so they all just kind of go, oh, I was having a little problem, and they get out of your way. Like they're not going to kill you. But I remember realizing that this isn't a dog. because I'm pretty big and strong. And back then I was pretty willing to, if I needed to, use my weight to get my way. And I always could. Even with a big dog, if you have good leverage, understanding of leverage, you can manage a pretty big dog.
Yeah.
Sure.
Most people just don't understand how to use their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But with that horse, I mean, maybe experienced people who got all the skills. I don't have that. And I was just like,
Yeah.
well, I hope this ends well because I just got off because that seemed
Yeah.
like a really sensible answer to me. But just the realization that if we get into a fight, I'm losing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
I'm
moment. It was a moment.
losing and you're going to run away into traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
And
like this is
somehow
a great
miraculously live
segue.
and give me a bit. Yeah, I hope so. It's a comedy segue.
Yeah, so this segue into the next question is around like, look, the same quality, one direction or the other, too far can make a great trainer or an arrogant one. And so there's like a real fine line between self-righteousness and conviction in what you believe. And so how do you commit to what you think is good for the dog without attaching your identity or ego to it? Like what context are you holding to differentiate where you're ending and that animal's beginning?
Do you want me to say?
Jerri. Yeah.
Uh, how do I commit? Well, first of all, multiple things can be true at the same time, and I learned that a long time ago. So I don't have that barrier to get across like some people. I'm not married to my personal belief system for other people. It's foolishness to me. To
Mm-hmm.
me, and this is a controversial opinion, it's an observation. It's not an opinion, it's an observation. To me, that's a phase of development, and some of us get stuck in it, is just being able to see that only one truth can be true at the same time. If it's
Sure.
true for you, then it has to be false for you. And that's it. Hopefully, as human beings, we grow out of that and we learn how to not, get stuck there. So that I'll say
Sure.
that. But I offer people the information that's available to me, regardless of uh, what I think they should be doing. So, for example, somebody will say some. I say this often to clients that I feel aren't picking up what I'm putting down. I'll say something like, "Well, we can with dogs. There's a couple of ways to get behaviors. You can really reinforce the behaviors that you want to see, or you could punish them." And then I just blink. I'm like, "How's that sound?"
Sure.
Because that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
If we don't want to move forward building behaviors that we would like to see, then what you're left with is correcting a bunch of stuff and punishing your dog constantly. And I do not do that.
Sure.
So I can a little bit confused as to about why you would be here. Now I haven't had that kind of conversation with a client in a very long time, in
Yeah.
terms of feeling like somebody was asking me to cross a boundary that I wasn't okay with. That does not, I curate my clientele very well for that within my message. I want people to know you're not going to get me to cross a line that I won't be able to look at myself in the mirror later.
Sure.
But I think that's how is I commit to the plan by really truly giving them informed consent. I want you to know that these are the things that are available, and you're going to have to choose at the end of the day which thing you think is best for you. I can tell you why I choose what I choose, and I can tell you why I leave that shit right there alone, because it will
Sure.
lead to A, B, and C. This has this consequence. This has this consequence. And you lay it out for them and you let
Yeah.
people decide. And if they have a question, they can ask you. If they feel like they don't know, that's okay. Sit on it. Let's pin it. Let's pin it. Come back to it later. Let's work on something else right now. That's really what it is people get so stuck in their own. It's like going to your doctor and asking him for birth control, and then he tells you that he's Catholic. What does that have to do with me?
Totally. You're like, that's not helpful for
What
this
does that
particular
have to do with me?
situation.
I need for
Yeah.
you to tell me the options for prophylactics because I came to you as a physician. You
Sure.
promised to help me, and then they're like, well, I can't do that. You need to go to somebody else. Fine. And out I went.
Hmm.
That's I don't want to do that. I'm offering you the options, and then I'm telling you what I will participate in as a trainer. If your choice is to beat your dog, baby, I ain't the one. But
Totally.
that's not most.
That's not usually the case.
I believe that most people love their dogs and they want to be good to their dogs.
Yeah,
And they sometimes just don't know how.
sure. I agree with that.
Man, my brain has gone in 20 directions as I've been listening to that.
Well, I gave a couple different
You
ones.
and I'm going to answer this question kind of sort of when I get to it, maybe. But so I have a few thoughts. I've been trading dogs for dogs and such for about 45 years now, long time. And I've done things. You said line you wouldn't cross. I've crossed a lot of lines, right? So I did all my line crossing, and now I'm not going there anymore. But what that did do for me is I have a pretty clear idea in my head of what the results were of choices I made. I had dogs, I had to drag them out from under the table to get them to go out and train with me. And I was okay with that because it was a different time. I don't even know what to say. It was just a different time. My mindset about dogs was different. I feed you, you do these things for me. I had dogs for a reason. It was to do these things I wanted to do. And it wasn't a relationship based approach. It wasn't a respectful approach. It just was different. But I crossed a lot of lines. And I don't ever, the idea of dragging a dog out from under a table to do something for me now is so abhorrent and so not who I am. And so now, having kind of gone around in circles so many different ways in training, I have a personal compass and it's very strong. And I know who I am and where I'm going in this world. And so every time I'm asked a question that I have to think about, every time I make a decision with my dog, and I do this several times a day, I just check it against my compass. Is this who I am? I want to be a kind person. I want to be kind to dogs. I want to be an honest person. I want to be perceived as a forthright, honest person who cares. I want to be perceived as a person who respects people. I know a lot of dog trainers say they like animals, not dogs. I love people. I love people. I love individuals. I don't like groups. There's a big difference between individuals and groups. They're not the same, People in a group are not who they are. They're something else. But individuals are a story.
Like they're
Every
part
single person.
of a pack.
Yeah, there's nothing that makes me happier than sitting down. Like I'll meet some somewhere and they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad to meet you," and they're being sweet because they know I'm a dog trainer, they know me or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about me. I know about me. Tell me about you, and I will sit down. Tell me about you. I want to hear about your life. I want to hear about what it's like for you to be a dog trainer. I really do want to
I love
know
doing this to people. No way.
I fundamentally
Because I talk
that's why.
about dogs all day long. All we're ever talking about is dogs. And so when anybody has a story outside of that that's even remotely interesting, I'm like, you work at the post office? That's fascinating.
I know. What is it like? What do you do? What kind of
Yeah.
people do you run into? What do they say? So I think between having a compass and being genuinely respectful of people, and I think I have a lot of empathy for the complications of life. Life is hard and complicated. And I really do believe people are trying. And even people who I think are not doing right by their dogs, I also recognize that they got to that place in their life, however they got to that place in their life. The same way I got to that place in my life 40 years ago. It wasn't that it was a bad person. I was just at a different place in my life. And so I think introducing people to sort of my perspective without saying my perspective needs to be your perspective, it just feels right. And then something else just kind of based on how do you do this without ego? Well, you know what? Somewhere in the past times, people started calling me an expert. And it just sends me every single time when they're like, she's an expert at this, that, and the other. And all I can say is, if I'm an expert, we're all fucked because there's so much.
That's my favorite thing that you say. You're like, if I'm the best that we got, you guys, we're
in trouble. We're in trouble because
Denise, you are honestly on that one. You are often right, but on that one, you are truly wrong. Like you are just a voice that is very needed in our industry. And while you don't have to be a know-it-all, a jack of all trades, you're a master of some really powerful pillars that are good for people to witness at the very least.
That. And I do think I'm really good at the people side. And I think I'm a really good communicator, but that's not what people call me an expert about. They think I'm an expert about dogs. And I'm like, I'm guessing all the time. I'm guessing. And then I'm just testing my guesses. And sometimes I'm right. If I'm wrong, it's not a problem for me. It's like change direction, go a new way. And eventually I do usually figure it out. And I've seen a lot of dogs. So I make fewer mistakes, but I can guarantee you that every single day I make a mistake. I go out and I train my dog and I decide to go one way and I probably should have gone another, and I just quickly change it. It's not a tragedy, but it just makes me think, if this is expert, and then people ask me something. Okay, I gotta tell you this. I said it was a joke. I said border collies blink 3.7 times less than other breeds. Okay, this is a joke. Somebody searched AI today and asked if border collies blink, and it said, well, Denise stated that yes, it said it like it was a fact. It didn't understand it was a joke. You can search it. It said border collie blink 3.7.
Wait,
I put it on my Facebook today. You can see it there.
what?
Yes, it took, because I'm an expert, it took my statement that border collies blink 3.7 times less than other breeds and made it a fact.
Like the Joe Rogan of dog training.
I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I should laugh or cry. Like, that's AI in a nutshell right there.
That is
I don't know
amazing.
if you know
I
this,
laughed
but
myself into getting my hair stuck on my chair from that. That
well,
was a really precious gift, Denise.
so
Thank you.
every year for April Fool's Day, I got something on. I got something going on every year, and I can get
Please
people.
do.
So this last year, I convinced a lot of people that border collies have 3 lungs, because that's why they're able to run so much. They have that extra lung power.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that the breeders have to put Visine drops in their eyes because they stare so much at their littermates that they get, I called it BCDE,
This is
border collie
Denise.
dry eyes.
Oh,
This
oh
is
my
how the nanny dog. This is how the nanny dog myth about pit bulls got born into existence. One woman said
Wait,
something about it, and
wait,
then
That is amazing. So, like, my LA version of that, I was at like a very woo-woo party, and there was a woman talking to me who I could tell was influenceable. And we were having a conversation. I was like, hey, so have you heard about this all natural, like new Febreze? It'll make your clothes super soft. It works really amazing. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take rose water and you're just going to spray it on there, and then you're just going to hang it out in the sun. It's going to be like brand new. And she goes, oh my God, this is the craziest hack I've ever heard. And I was like, I'm full of shit. Rose water does the same shit it always does. Just spray it on you. It smells pretty, but like it's not a real Febreze. I'm sorry.
she's like,
I just goose you right now.
feels like she's saving thousands of dollars with this knowledge.
I'm like, don't spray it on your clothes. It's gonna fuck it up. I'm sorry. I take it back.
well, it just kind of, if nothing else, there's a tale in there about don't take things too seriously on the internet, because if I'm now
Sometimes
expert
we're
and I can
kidding.
say the most outrageous things, and like, so somebody says, well, with great power comes great responsibility. I said, well, fuck that, because I'm not going to stop talking and having a sense of humor because AI can't figure out the difference, or because some people see the world like black and white. I'm not interested in black and white,
Yeah.
everything sanitized so that nobody can misunderstand. I'm all about shades of gray, but it does mean you have to listen pretty carefully, because when it's shades of gray, it means I will say things that some people would consider inflammatory. Because I'll say, yeah, I can absolutely see where a person would find themselves in a really bad spot and would go for aversives, and I'm the first one to say I would not have an alternative solution for them. Boom, it's right there.
hmm
Does that
Sure.
make me a proponent of aversives? No, it just means that I'm willing to concede that my approach, the way I go through life, does not cover all situations, and other people are making it do the best they can. But I want to put my
Yeah.
point of view out there so that maybe some people will be like, hey, tell me more about that thing you were saying. Tell me
hmm
more about how that works. Because I've been doing this other thing, I don't like it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you about my approach. Maybe it'll work for you. So
Totally.
anyway, that's what you get for being an expert. You end up on AI and you say stupid stuff and everybody takes it as gospel.
That's like the
There's a
biggest
fly in my
flex
drink.
I've ever heard anyone in the dog training industry say. That they said something and somebody chat GPT'd it and they were like, well, Denise spends it.
Well, it does. Yeah, you just be careful with that chat GPT. I mean, I like it. It's way fun, but just be a little careful. And it says it
Totally.
in a really well-written way, so you'll actually think it's real. Like
Yeah, so it sounds so
it
true.
sounds so true. Yeah, because they didn't. It was reduced blinking. I'm like, oh my god, that's like reduced blinking, 3.7% time. Yes, border collies like you bad dog.
I mean, maybe it's true though.
Maybe it is. He doesn't blink very much.
So since we're on our tech movement here now. I'd love to chat with you guys a bit about how the how dog training has changed in general. I feel like in particular since COVID, there's a lot more online dog training platforms, things like that in general. Maybe I just wasn't as privy to as many as there were, but I feel like it used to kind of just be Learburg. There was like one to two others, and now there's pretty much there's an online platform that you could learn from anywhere. And so
Hmm.
being two women who also have online platforms, I'm curious what you think some of the benefits have been of having more online digital training and also what some of the limitations of those programs might be.
You go
I mean, I
first,
got to
Denise,
tell
because
you,
you already had your school when COVID happened.
yeah, I've been in
I
business
started when
for like 12
COVID
years.
happened.
So I was definitely an early adopter.
Yeah.
I actually was so impressed by the impact of online training that I stopped teaching in person about a year later. Just stopped
Same,
because I
same.
realized that my online students were, first of all, they're global. So
Hmm.
you get people who really want to hear what you have to say.
Sure.
When you're local, you get 50% people who really want to do what you want to do, and 50% who use you for some version of weekly therapy / entertainment, right?
Yes.
It's not, they're not
They
committed.
use it as something to go out and do their little whatever. Yeah.
It's like swim lessons for the kids. It's
Yeah.
like the adult version.
Hmm.
So that was a thing. You also,
Okay.
when I give somebody a written lecture with videos, they have in their own privacy, own time. They can read that.
Hmm.
They can think about it. They can think about questions. They can watch the video. They can do the assignment. They can come back to me. They can do their thing. I can then look at that video and I can be very detailed. I can say, I want you to compare what you did at 6 seconds and 18 seconds. Do you see the difference in your dog's demeanor? And I can see the person in my mind going back and forth between those spots saying, oh, I do see that difference. And then you say, this
Okay.
is why it matters, right? In real time, the problem is at 6 seconds, I can call out what happened, but it already happened. They're not doing it anymore.
Sure.
And I find that when somebody's looking at it on a video, it creates, I felt, a much faster learning process. What's missing for me from the in-person thing, and I'm working on that, that's one of the reasons I bought the ranch. I think the loss of community is huge. And I don't even know if people know how much they're losing by not having human beings in front of them, talking to
Hmm.
them, interacting with them. So it's like more than the skill of dog training.
Sure.
It's actually about the importance of people and
Mm.
interacting in a real life way, not just, on screens. I think it's hurting us a lot.
Sure.
There are also some things that I just want to reach out and take your hand, kind of help you out a little
Mm.
bit. And I can't do
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
online. Personally, I took a class. I'm in it now. I'm in my last week, and I love having a coach. It's online,
Yeah.
but I love having a coach. I love having the responsibility and the assignments in writing. So I'm kind of going through them and trying to stay on track. And I like that I can look back at those videos and see the differences she's talking about. So it just reminded me how much I like being a student because I don't get to do it
Mm.
enough. Hey, little man.
He always likes to come and give
So
me a hug when we're.
I do think it's interesting for trainers because COVID, we all know this, was brutal for on the dog training industry because we're a service industry, and it was really hard to watch people going under. Remember, I mean, there were months, right, that you could not train, you were not supposed to interact with people, and so you had those who were able to figure it out very quickly and pivot and get themselves online and make that happen and market themselves and survive. And there were a lot that did not survive. And we know
Yeah.
that. A lot of people
Yeah.
didn't make it. I don't know what happened. I don't know where they went there. It's not even like the good trainers pivoted and the bad ones different. But we know that some people survived and a lot didn't.
Hmm.
Um, I suspect that people who are willing to opt in to online training are benefiting greatly.
Sure.
I love that when I look at accounts on Instagram, I'll see people who are clever and I'll think, I hope you're doing well. I see you're offering online stuff. I like the way you present your materials. I bet you're pretty good at what you do.
Hmm.
I like how public it makes it. So if you're doing like things you shouldn't be doing, the whole world's going to know about it. So you better be good at what you do.
Sure.
However it is you do it, you better be willing to face public scrutiny because if you're doing stuff you should not be doing, people are going to find out. It's kind of like Jerri and I
Yeah.
talk about board and trains. I've got
Hmm.
huge issues with board and trains. I think
Yeah.
a lot of really terrible things happen in board and trains because of the lack of public accountability. But when it's
Sure.
Yeah.
all online, I kind of like that. I mean, I think that's good for the industry as a whole, the sort of more public kind of situation. But what I don't like is that people are losing opportunities to get out of their house. Like you can have your
Mm,
groceries delivered, you can have your dog. Everything takes place in your house now.
sure.
And that worries me just about our species.
Totally. And like, regardless of how people feel about the tool, there's a level like I just don't use e-collar because I'm a pack walker and I don't want to hold 10 e-collars and pack walk. And also like it's just not my tool, right? And so uh where was I going with this? It's gone.
Well, that's, I mean, you
It'll be
went
back.
somewhere with it. You went somewhere with it at
It'll
least.
be back.
Oh, we'll circle back around to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, shit. All right. Anyways, okay. So we talked a little bit about like you offering options for the dog that you think are best for them. We talked about you feeling not married to certain techniques, but having ones that either match your compass or things that you really feel more inclined to use depending on the situation, right? Were there ever some dogs, I'm sure there were, along the way that knocked all your perfectly established little rules out of place and made you completely have to shift and pivot and do things a little bit different?
Well, I'm going to just talk about the last few years because I can't, I mean, I trained differently before. So there are a couple dogs that stick out. And I was just going to talk to you about this today, Denise, and this is the perfect place to talk about it. There's a client that I have that is one of my friends now. Her name is Emily, and she lives in Australia. She has a dog named Tilly that was just very aggressive. And she lives in a high-rise apartment in Australian Capital Territory, like in the middle of the city. Her dog is labeled as an aggressive dog and has to wear a muzzle, but she has a really, she's just one of the best like dog guardians ever. I mean, she's just very good at helping Tilly. And I told her about what had happened with Dice and how you drive him around in the car because it was like there wasn't anything. So we took what you were doing and I added baking spatula, a frozen baking spatula with peanut butter and a frozen licky mat with stuff on it. And she learned how to literally
Yeah.
in the car and she
Yeah.
drove her dog around and we used it like a hamster wheel.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I mean she was trying to break the windows out to jump out and choose the violence, and she sent me a video not too long ago of her sleeping in the back seat while she was driving somewhere, and I just felt like she punched me right in the nose. I started instantly crying. I was like, oh. But the point of that story is this: that that difficult time that Denise had turned into me obsessing over that particular thing she was doing. And then I started using it with a lot of different dogs. And those dogs began to change. And it totally changed the way that I would approach certain situations. I would be like, let's just use the car, or let's just do this, or let's just do that. Where before I wouldn't have, I just didn't do that. And there's a dog that I have right now. It's a group of little a pack of two German Shepherds in Argentina. And I mean, there's just foxes running around. There's just horses walking down the street in the middle. You don't know. It's a
Yeah.
gorgeous place. The neighborhood is beautiful, but it's wild, you know. And her dog was in the car with her, and they're doing the rolling hamster ball, and a fox crosses right in front of him, and her dog's just like, and watches it walk off and licks its peanut butter, and they go on, and she's like silently like
Yeah.
those are the kinds of things where I'll hone in on something that somebody's doing that's a little bit different that I don't see anybody else doing, and then I'll obsess over it
Mm,
until I have this like replicatable sort of, that's not a word, but let's go with it. This replication
Yeah.
of what I did over and over and over, and then I do it with a bunch of different dogs and a bunch of different. I had a dog named Ziggy one time that was reactivity is so explosive we couldn't even work outside. I'm like, how am I going to get this dog that we got to go outside? So I developed snuffle mat stationing, and we put a bunch of snuffle mats out in the yard, and we would move from station to station to station. And because of Ziggy and because of that, then I started doing that with all the dogs that I noticed would struggle in their own front yard. I wouldn't push them
Yeah.
past the moment and keep going. I was like, so I don't know. I really like those moments where I can tell that the everybody must not have the answer or everybody would be doing it. So what's the deal? And then if I find something really unique, I grab it and try to see if I can put my own spin on it, my own touch to it, my own touch on it.
So that's interesting because I do exactly the same thing. So I call that car socialization. Another one is circle walking. There
Yeah.
are certain things that you start doing and you start going, I think there's more here than I have identified. And then you start like the whole circle walking thing. I went on Facebook and I said to people, I'm going to show you this basic technique. I want you to try it and I want you to send me videos and I want to see how it's working. And I'm going to coach you for free. I just need to see. And because I don't take private clients anymore, I looked at hundreds of videos and responded to people. I want you to do this. I want your distance to be a little bigger. I want this. I want whatever. And that's how you learn new and interesting things. And that's how you figure out what kind of dogs it works for, what kind of dogs it doesn't work for. I don't know why we have such trouble admitting that not all things work for all dogs. Sometimes you're just doing it wrong. Okay, that's a reality. But
I
Sure.
love that you
sometimes we have
said
the
that
wrong
because
dogs.
I can tell you exactly the dogs that I say, hey, this is going really great, but I want you to go over to FDSA and I want you to take the Finzi method class. It's a circle walking method because I can tell you right now, if you use both of those things together, that's going to be the answer for your
It's
dog.
going to help. And knowing like which dogs do better sitting still, which dogs do better
Hmm.
moving, whatever. But the way you think about it is the way I think about it too. It's sort of like I see something interesting and my brain just starts going, I wonder.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of trainers just don't think that way. They want to be given techniques. And I've got, this is not a problem. It's just a different way of thinking about the world, which is one of the reasons I find it so disturbing that right now my own community, basically the plus R community, has some issues with me because some people perceive me as not positive enough. It bothers me because I'm like, I have things to offer you. I'm not even charging you anything. I just want you to listen to some of the things I'm saying and ask questions because I think I can improve your training. And some of these folks will not incorporate anything new until the group has approved it. So the group, whoever that is, has to look at it and has to say, this is a vetted presenter. You can listen to them. You can take their information. But if you're not one of their people, you can't. There's a method where you put food in a box. You guys, it's called the dopamine
Yeah.
box.
Hmm.
It comes from the balance community.
Hmm.
And I don't care where it came from. I heard it and I went, oh, that's really interesting. And a friend of mine who teaches for FDSA, Karen Deeds, looked at that and said, that's really interesting. And she now teaches classes and workshops that have a lot to do with that method. She just leaves out the parts that don't fit her philosophy. But
Hmm.
a lot of people were really disturbed about it. They were like, yeah, but then they use the e-collar. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do. You can do whatever you want. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater here. There's a lot here that we can work with. So let's take that and think about how to make that work. And I was having a problem with my dog. I do some protection work with him, some sport work, going in and biting when he should have just been barking. And the solution came when I asked my friend, how would the balance community solve this problem? And she told me what they would do. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear. Because the difference between balance training and force free is just 3 seconds. So I just asked myself, 3 seconds before they would have applied that correction
Hmm.
is when I need to get involved. And that's the change I made 3
Yeah.
seconds earlier.
Yeah.
So taking a technique that I'm not going to use and then just twisting it around in my brain, working with it. The method, the way dogs learn is the same, no matter how you choose to do things. If a dog pulls on a leaf and you correct it, then if you see the dog is about to pull 3 seconds earlier and you give it a cookie, you both get to the same place. It's just that I'm a little more fond of giving over the cookie rather than responding to the pressure of the leash. But it's a loss to our community when can't we won't think that way because it implies support of people who don't train like we do. And I'm like, well, that's fine, but you're losing opportunities to make
Yeah.
strides, especially in areas where we're struggling. I would say we struggle with reactivity. I would say the entire dog world, all the communities, balanced, force-free, all of us struggle to make progress in ways that is palatable and timely for your average person who just wants to get along. There are so few techniques for anybody that are timely and that we can apply well. It's just, we have a lot of work to do in that area. We have a lot of work to do. So I am all about anybody coming up with anything that might move that process faster. And I think the dopamine box concept moves that process faster. So I'm like, oh,
I
I'll look at
think
that.
I think that talking to our clients every day moves that process faster too. I think
I agree with you.
that having small touch points more frequently yields a higher success rate.
I
That is
agree. I think a
completely
big
logical.
piece of that is
Totally.
like, it's the energetic piece too. Like the people, it's the person that needs a lot of holding. Like, I think when I look more now at how I train and work with my clients, I'm more interested in like how are they going to live the best life together, not how I'm going to neutralize every single response from the dog
Mm-hmm.
about anything that they're feeling about anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
it kind of segues into this next piece around like I feel like our industry is kind of in this weird space now where whatever technique you're using, the end goal is like to have the dog feel nothing. And it's like, how did we get over into this
Mm,
like robot dog era where my dog had a feeling, oh, you're either fucking bad or let's make it really good.
yeah.
And it's just like, why does everything have to be neutral? Are we taking the dog out of the dog when we're creating this whole like, let's have you respond this way and it means this?
Well, people project onto dogs what they want for themselves. So if people have an aversion to discomfort, they believe that dogs are averse to discomfort.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
they don't have a lot of resiliency or capacity, they believe the same thing about dogs. Like it
Sure.
Oh,
that it's just you project what you believe about yourself onto animals. I mean,
Yes.
and the experiences that we have with animals. There are things that my daughter and I do that we consider to be safe,
Sure.
that other people think are insane,
Yeah.
because we are a different way than they are. I'm not a
Sure.
person that seeks out a lot of personal safety. When I do activities, I try to mitigate risk as much as I can because I'm have a brain. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
insane. I'm not trying to hurt myself, but I also put
Yeah.
myself in situations that I realize other people would be like, "Well, I'm not doing that. That's
that's
dangerous, or
dangerous.
it's too hot, or
Yes.
or you could this or you could that." And
Sure.
I'm like, I could
Sure.
also just drop dead tomorrow. So,
Totally.
I don't have a lot of the fears that people would often place on me. I don't have a lot of those fears. If my
I think
dog
that
dies doing
relates.
something where we were on an adventure and he dies valiantly on an adventure, then that's the way he died.
Yeah.
I think
That's the way he died, and I will accept that, and I will internalize that and make it a part of me, and then I will move forward. I'm
Sure.
not afraid of life. And so I think that when you have differences of viewpoints, that's where we try to place, well, this is the way that it should be. And it's like, I don't want anything that you have. I don't want to be anything like you, and I don't want to live the life that you have.
Sure.
So why would I make the decisions that you make around your animal? Some people think that
Definitely.
putting an e-collar on a dog that has off leash freedom for it is abusive, and their dog is languishing away on a couch behind a management fence on a drug
Yeah.
cocktail. I would
Totally.
so.
never
What
do
you guys
that.
are saying, this thing about calm and safety is really interesting. It's very baked into aspects of the dog world. It's getting better, by the
Yeah.
way. It was much worse about 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, the idea that you never play tug with a dog because it brought out too much adrenaline,
Yes.
and you
Sure.
always that I'm not hearing that right now. So that seems to be settling. But the
Yeah.
idea was that life was calm, and I've never felt that. And I think,
No.
because, like you
Yeah.
said, you project onto your dogs, right? To me, life is the moments of extreme joy. I try to avoid the shitty moments,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
also recognize that it's a package. And I'm not going to stay in my house and be calm when I can be out in the world having mostly, I hope, really positive experiences. So somebody asked for an example. I take my dogs to the ranch and I let them run off leash. I've got 3 dogs. I can tell you they get the potential for getting hurt, sticking their foot in a hole, getting a
Hmm.
foxtail, They're probably not, they're in the middle of 100 acres, so they're probably not going to get hit by a car. But the point is, they could run into a barbed wire fence.
Sure.
There are a lot of points of risk. They drink crappy water. It's probably why I've got 2 dogs with diarrhea right now, right? They drink bad water. They come up lanes, you know, they go running. And I don't think these are things to be avoided, because the alternative, the safety alternative, doesn't make sense to me. Washing out life and being bland, that's what depression is. Depression is no highs and maybe even no lows. It's just you have no reactions. And, you know, having talked to people with depression, I'm like, well, when you go and you do something and it goes really well, do you have a moment of happiness? And they said, sometimes, but often just I have a nothing. And I'm like,
Yeah, because
wow.
they're never feeling relief. And
Right.
relief is one of the most underestimated human emotions. Relief is what
Yeah.
we're looking for when we achieve that success. We
Well,
finally
so
got the thing. We
we
get to
did it.
feel that relief, like, oh,
It
I
was
did it.
hard.
Or
It
we're
was
going,
hard.
yeah, we're going through something really difficult. I can see the relief on my dog's face and then the joy of overcoming. I can
Sure.
literally see it in his
Well, you
face.
know, they talk about, oh, well, you know, when you overcome it, it's like, fuck that. I hate struggling. I do. I'm going to be totally honest. When my dog training's not going well, I'm not having a good time. But talk to me in a year.
Yeah.
Because in a year, I probably did overcome it. I
Sure.
didn't have a good
Yeah.
time the 364 days. But the process, the coming back to it, the working through it, whether I know it or not, that's an important part of life. That's an important part of being awake. It gets me out of bed in the damn morning because I'm like, I got to try this new thing. I think I have an idea, right? That's that push, that drive to solve problems. It's not that they're fun when you're in them, but what you just said, Jerri, the relief when you think you're making progress and you're like, wait, that might work. If you didn't have the downside, you don't have the upside. And that's why when I'm
Totally.
shaping, when I do shaping, I tend to approach it a little bit differently than most people. I tend to create larger chunks and let the dog solve it as a puzzle, depending on the dog. It really does depend. But like with Zen, I'm very okay with allowing him to make a lot of mistakes because I kind of want him to see it as a puzzle that he has some responsibility for solving. And he's going to have to figure out, do I need to slow down to solve this puzzle? Do I need to speed up to solve this puzzle? Because I'm projecting onto him and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to do a puzzle design for a 3-year-old. I want to do a puzzle design for my age that pushes and challenges me. So I give him that opportunity. With the youngster, with Ice, the puppy, he couldn't handle any puzzles at all. He had a complete meltdown. But you know what? He's starting to handle them. I've noticed today he did something wrong and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I sent him back around to do it again. I sent him around 3 times. He got it right. He got rewarded. So he's no longer running off and like completely melting down on me. He's getting there. He's getting stronger. But that whole idea of life is a cost benefit analysis. Life is risk and rewards. And our society is so locked in on the cost risk side that we are oblivious to the fact that the alternative means no reward. We are so safety focused. It blows my mind. You
Yeah,
gave your
it's
dog
like
what kind of a chew? What if he breaks his teeth? What if he doesn't break his teeth?
and then it's
Yeah.
also like, okay, just as long as your dog can walk on a loose leash, sit in a crate, and be separate from you, they're fucking set for life. And it's like, cool. Well, half people go through that shit, give up halfway through because they're not using the compass and also not listening to the dog that's in front of them and understanding that some dogs have different capacities for different things. And then they suck all the joy out of fitting into this little compliance box that they thought was going to give them the thing. And then they realize, like I did, unfortunately, like my dog just passed. I spent like 8 years just fucking doing the wrong stuff with him, not enjoying the dog that I had, focusing on all the limitations of everything that we were doing. Like I just have a much different perspective at this point of like honoring the dog that's before you, not trying to make them compliant into this little thing, and like checking in with yourself and your dog once in a while, reassessing if those things are still important for you. Like, of
I
course,
love
like
that. I
there's
love that you're
skill
doing
in
that.
settling, but like also you gotta go fucking live your life with your dog, man. If you're staying home because you have such anxiety because your dog has one response on a walk, you've gone off course. Like you have
You've
literally
lost the plot.
taken everything.
You've
Yeah,
lost the plot.
totally,
Why
totally.
did you get a
You,
dog? But I
you
love
two,
that you
I
reflected.
hate to do this to us, but I have got to go to a consult. And
Oh, how dare
I've
you?
moved. I have to go to a consult. I had one solid hour tonight, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm I I missed this person's consult the other day because I was so busy. And if I miss it
Oh,
again,
can't do that.
okay,
Well, you
Yeah.
tell
okay.
that person they are responsible for ending this live. And we're having a good time. Let's
I
have you
know.
back
I
because
could have
I love this
gone on for
conversation.
another hour. I even got my list out. I was like, these are really good questions. We're gonna maybe talk about these some
Yeah,
other time.
I have
yeah,
quite a
we got to do
Well,
this again.
few more. I
Yeah.
have
I would.
one
We can.
very
You know
short
what?
one. Very
We
short
can
one.
do a part two. But yeah, ask me a short one. I have 1 minute.
You're coming out, you're wrestling. What is your intro song when you're hitting
Oh,
that stage?
everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody
I
knows. This isn't. If my followers know, immediately Donna Summer. Immediately, boom, 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 boom.
hell
Yeah,
yeah.
the, immediately,
Beautiful.
or even toot toot. Yeah, beep beep.
Beep beep.
Yeah, it's something joyful.
Okay.
Something joyful. I like
I think
disco.
I think mine is going to be Don Henley, Dirty Laundry.
That's the
Ooh.
most for you.
Yeah. I get so much shit every which direction. And I heard that song on the radio the other day. And I was like, this is my
Hot
song. So I'm so glad you
stuff,
asked. Now everybody
hot
knows. Go
When
stuff,
stream
you
and
it.
know,
dirty
you know.
laundry.
Yeah. When
Dirty
you know,
little
you know.
secrets, dirty little lies. Got your dirty little
Such a
fingers
good
in
song
everybody's
too.
pies. That's a good one. You can open up with that for us.
It's a
All right, ladies,
fantastic
let's
song.
make our big
Yeah,
smile.
yeah, everybody smile. Okay. All right. I will. Let's do a part two because I'm sure you had more questions and we are happy to answer them.
Yep,
I
this
got a
is
few.
great, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining
What
us.
did I
Thanks for
do?
having me.
What did you
Just a little flower
see
here and
that?
there.
I did.
Flower child. Flower child.
Oh, we can like do
Oh.
things? Wow. I had no idea. Good to know.
Bye, everybody.